Okay, today's topic is on AI and training as I use my AI podcasting tool and AI to help me come up with the script of it. Now, to be fair, the way I'm using it is, hey, this is my podcast idea and concept. Let me tell you about it. Help me organize the thoughts and ideas. But I've been using uh, software since I was in grade 12. I'm 31, so like 13 years. Because I have a learning disability, it was I would speak into a microphone and it would just type for me. And that's what it would do. That was in grade 12. And so now it's just way better technology because I can actually, instead of typing into it, I can actually speak into it. It types, then I take it, put it into AI, and then it can help organize it. I do that sometimes on very long, in-depth ones, but other times I just kind of spitball bullet point, and then it kind of prompts back to me, and we kind of balance and forth. Hey, I like this, but this is what I really meant. And that's how using AI should be, not to rely on it solely. So, is technology the future of fitness? Are we just overcomplicating things? Are we using AI apps properly? Are we using fitness apps properly? These are all the things that I want to talk about. Now, fitness is actually pretty simple. It's just hard. And I think we overcomplicate it by relying on technology to come up with workout plans and programs. Most people, I'm talking general mass, I'm not talking, the sports scientist who works with basketball players. Most people need a really simple routine that they can just stick to, and they don't need to overthink or overcomplicate it. Lift heavy, eat meat is one of the best advice that most people can actually get in fitness because it's super simple. Once you lift heavy and eat meat, it's okay, lift heavier each week, change it every 6 weeks. Eat meat, but also have some fiber. And that's like another, again, just addition to it. So we can keep things simple and then add to it. Keep things simple and then add to it. So it's not over complex, especially from the get-go. I don't think AI is ever going to be really good at working with beginners. I have never had two clients have the same starting point. And that's important for us to realize is that AI doesn't necessarily know that. When you have this big one-size-fits-all programming, which again, I'll pick on F45, CrossFit, Orange Theory, you have to be able to know how to modify it. It takes a genius to actually simplify programs and get great results. It doesn't take a genius to make complicated programs, right? And I think AI sometimes can overthink and overcomplicate because, well, it's AI. It's just going to do what it's programmed to do. And I don't think it's aware of how you can come up with really simple things unless you specifically ask for it. But not a lot of people realize how simple fitness actually can be, how it's actually more psychology instead of fitness. I never took psychology. I'm obsessed with learning about psychology. And that's actually helped me more in my career. It's the art of personal training, not the science of personal training. The art of personal training has made me more successful than the science of personal training. And the art is knowing how to work with people, and people have people problems. AI can't really help with people problems the best. I'm sure it's still better than nothing, but let's talk about it in a bit more detail. Now, let's just start off with wearables. Not that it's AI, but you can probably hook them up to AI. You can even ask AI about your wearable data. There's data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. It's going to give you data, information, and knowledge, but it's going to lack the wisdom. And if you don't have the wisdom, then you're missing out on a lot of key points. So I think what's good about wearables is tracking steps. And that's been around for a long time. Pedometers is a good example of that. I think the reason why tracking steps is good is it gives you a good base of how active you generally are throughout the day, and you know what your workout is anyway. A lot of people overestimate how many steps they can actually take in a day. Sleep scores and recovery scores, they're somewhat of an algorithm. I still think it can be beneficial. Roughly, if you go to bed at 10 and you're up at 6, okay, I got 8 hours of sleep, but I was up in the middle of the night. Oh, actually, there was a couple nights where apparently I was up. And that's nice to know, but it's not a need to know. And same thing with recovery scores. You can kind of get a feel for it, but it's not necessarily a need to know. I think tracking steps is much more useful to know. And then heart rate variability, Not a lot of people necessarily understand it. I even listened to a podcast maybe a month ago, and I still don't understand it to the best of our ability. It's very variable from person to person, and it's not necessarily the number, it's how the number is trajectorying, is my understanding of it. And I know there can be scores with it. I still think from my understanding, it can be cool, and I think it can be a good score, but what are we going to do with that data information? That's where something like heart rate variability, a professional, I'm not a professional on that, will be able to do it much better with it. And some people might just be obsessed with these numbers. What I think is overrated, and it's when people don't know what to do with all of this data, right? And it's paralysis by analysis. It's too much information. I also think it can be overrated when it's a marketing gimmick. When you have these workout places that talk about tracking heart rate and tracking calories because you're going to get better fitness, there's no science to prove that you're actually going to get better fitness by wearing that stuff. And I'm going to say this, fitness as a general scheme of things. Sure, you can track your heart rate. If your goal is cardio, that might make some sense. Most people's goals isn't necessarily to improve cardio, it's to improve their overall fitness. Strength training gives two fucks about your heart rate and calories burned. It cares about getting stronger. Old school pen and paper is more beneficial for getting stronger because you track what you did last week and you just add a bit more. And that's what I've implemented at the gym temple. And it's literally pen and paper, which isn't sexy, but it actually works. And so a lot of places, again, F45, Orange Theory, possibly CrossFit, possibly you wearing it, possibly your watch. Oh, I burned so many calories in this workout and my heart rate got to this. Unless it's specifically your goal to train for heart rate because of like a sport, you're probably fine just pushing your heart rate up. Again, it's the mid-wit meme that I've talked about earlier. And again, that's why I believe those places are more gimmicky, especially when they have scoreboards around that, right? Yeah, they're gamifying it, but there's a thing called the Cobra effect. What you measure isn't always what you should be valuing. And so, again, I'll give a quick example of this. If all you cared about calories burned is you would just do burpees the whole class, you're going to burn probably a fuck ton of calories. That's not necessarily going to be a good workout, right? And so that's why calories burned is way overrated and actually stupid, and it's not even that accurate. So don't worry about calories burned. I've actually had members say, why is my Apple Watch different than my heart rate monitor? Because they're both wrong. They're both wrong. One might be more accurate than the other one, but they're both wrong. Okay. Is it helpful to have these fitness apps, or are they lacking the human touch? Again, I think tracking weight, progress in food intake, I think that can be great for keeping things organized, but it's not the whole solution. It's convenient and it's accessible. You don't always want to be tracking and adding more weight, and you can be obsessed with that aspect of tracking. Sometimes you do need maintenance, right? And the same thing with food intake. I think that's where people can have a bit of an obsession around calories, is that they get too obsessed about tracking. I think it's good to bring notice to it and then to step away. What I do think is useful is having a trainer, or sometimes I'm sure there's some apps that track weights, track food intake, and they do a good job of telling you when to scale up and down. But there's still, at least with these apps, going to be a lack of human accountability, adjustment, and emotional intelligence, right? Sometimes the goal of a workout isn't physical, it's mental. Sometimes the goal of a workout is just to get moving. Sometimes the goal of a workout is for stress relief, right? Which is mental. And these apps don't necessarily get that. And so that's the full spectrum of things. So you have to become your own advocate for certain things like that, right? An app won't call you out when you skip a workout, and it won't adjust your program when life gets in the way. And people want that human connection. They want that human touch. We are humans. We're not robots in this, in a cog in a machine, right? And fitness can be really simple, but it's hard. It's about being consistent and disciplined, and apps can't do those two things for you. Apps have a really hard time keeping you consistent. They can try, and they have a hard time keeping you disciplined. They can try, but a human's going to be way, way better at that. I think data analysis and personalization AI can crunch numbers faster than I can. They can analyze trends faster than I can. I think that's where using AI as a coach can be a good thing, right? I use Jasper. It helps me with emails, helps me with marketing. It can help trainers with scheduling. It can help analyze some numbers, and it can generate ideas for a workout. Like, hey, we've been stuck in this type of training. I want to get into this kind of training. Can you give me a couple different ideas for a rotational exercise like this? Because I want to get out of my own bias. Oh yeah, that one's a great one. And so I think that's where it can help with brainstorming. But it can sometimes, weirdly enough, you have to use AI creatively to get creative results. And that's what I'm talking about. There's also limitations with creativity, but sometimes lack of empathy and emotional intelligence. AI doesn't understand that sometimes the best workout is the one that just helps clear your head, right? Not always to build muscle. Even the science, with these science-based listers, they're like, well, this workout's the best, or this exercise is the best to build muscle. Why? Well, because it activates the muscle more. That's not always what's going to build muscle. One doesn't always correlate to the other. Also, is that everyone's goal to build muscle or to build strength? There's mobility aspects to it. There's stability aspects to it. There's neurological connections to it. There's deload weeks. There's so many other variables. It's like a weather system. It's a chaos theory effect. You change one variable, you don't know how the rest are going to go. And if you just hone in on muscle, that's not always what we're looking for, right? And that's the wisdom in problem solving. If you also only ever chase muscle and never strength, you're going to hit so many plateaus. If you sometimes chase muscle, then sometimes chase strength, you're going to get the best of both worlds probably, almost, but then you're still lacking mobility and stability and rotational exercises. So things will always have their bias. So using AI, but you have to have the wisdom behind AI. You, as a human, need to create that wisdom. Hence, trainer's wisdom, the name of the show, right? It's actually really easy to make a complex workout. The real skill is creating a simple workout tailored to an individual that can be very effective, right? And humans need human solutions. Human problems require human solutions. AI doesn't have the life experience or intuition of a good coach. It's just the accumulation of what it knows from basically the internet. And human psychology, I bet you AI still will not get to that level for a decent amount of time. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, I could see it evolving better, but I still don't see it replacing coaches, right? It'll evolve to complement us. It can help with admin tasks for sure, data analysis, client check-ins. It helps me organize my thoughts for the podcast. There's so many things that I can use AI for. I really like it actually for when I travel. Hey, give me some good itineraries. But I don't take its word at gospel, right? I've had AI write programs for me. They're not great. It's not something I would do. It's not something I would ever allow my clients to do. But maybe it can get to that point better and better if it was to analyze different coaching styles. But even then, it's going to be biased to those coaches, right? It's also where if it analyzes everybody's training style and it just makes an amalgamation without a clear direction, then it's useless. It's kind of like CrossFit programming. It's a mix of everything, so it's actually nothing to a degree, right? You can do everything, you just shouldn't do everything at once is another way to think about fitness. You should focus on strength and then endurance. You shouldn't do strength and endurance in the same workout. I'm going to stick to that for a while. There is going to be exceptions to it. My friend Mike Egan, he's an absolute beast, but he is not getting the most amount of strength possible or the maximum amount of endurance possible, but he's also working out for his sport, which is CrossFit, and he's at an elite level, and he built copious amounts of strength before, and he did bodybuilding before, and he's been in the fitness world for a long ass time. Most people probably shouldn't be doing CrossFit for the first 5 to 10 years of their training career, at least not at that level. Again, my philosophy is lift heavy, eat protein, stay consistent. That's it. You don't need these wearables. I don't like wearables. I don't like these apps telling me what to do. And there's value in simplicity, right? The hardest part isn't knowing what to do, it's doing it. Consistency and discipline are what make the difference, right? And a good coach is going to bring the wisdom, empathy, and the ability to adapt to the complexities of a human life. And that's not something that AI can do, at least not yet. So I want you to think about the future of AI? What do you think it can do in fitness? I want to hear your feedback, and maybe I can do a follow-up on this one as well. I think wearables isn't AI, but it's useful, but I think they're overrated. I think fitness apps can be helpful tools, but again, they lack the human touch. I think AI is a great complement, but not a replacement for a coach. And I think simplicity should be the foundation of fitness success. So again, what do you think? What do you think about wearables? What do you think about apps? What do you think about AI in the future of fitness? Are we overcomplicating something that's actually pretty simple? Let me know your thoughts. So again, reach out to me. You can message me on Instagram, thicknick1, THICCNIC1. You can comment on the comments here. But yeah, I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say.